Welcome back. Now, National Burns Awareness Week starts today. It comes at an important time of the year with winter fast approaching. Now, the chances of suffering burn wounds is much higher now than in summer months as people light fires and use heaters as well as hot water bottles to keep warm. So ER24 says children are more susceptible to burn wounds. I've got a spokesperson, Russell Mehring, who's here to discuss the matter further. Russell, thanks a lot for joining us this morning. Now, we're looking at the fact that we have this conversation every single year, but sometimes people miss it every single year. And it's becoming more and more dangerous, obviously, with shack fires that are also on the loom, and as well as people putting out their candles and their lamp stands out.
That is one of the more common instances that we do respond to, and the local fire services do respond to, is your shack fires. Obviously, with the amount of shack fires in a small area, they're built very close together, so when one shack burns, a lot of them generally go up. Yeah. Also, using your various heating devices, your candles, paraffin lamps, excuse the pronunciation, the imbaulos, I think it is, these can cause some serious heat injuries and even death. So we try to build awareness around this, saying, there are cheaper options, there are safer options to use, even homemade options that if you are going to use these devices, you can use them safely. And unfortunately, it's generally children that are injured around with heaters, cooking.
And water bottles now.
Water bottles,
How does
absolutely.
that work? Is it because you put the hot water bottle on your skin for long periods of time and then it comes up with a blister?
That can be one of the reasons, yes. The story that we covered recently with Little Minka is the water bottle popping. Now, obviously, you're pouring boiling water into this, and if there's the device is faulty, or you sit on it, or it pops, or something like that.
How do you know that a water bottle device is faulty?
Well, unfortunately, you don't know. You do need to buy rather quality over quantity, so you do need to buy a reputable hot water bottle. But obviously, you are filling it with scalding hot water, so when it does pop, you can get quite substantial full-thickness burns with these. Yeah,
I mean, when talking about issues around, shack fires and people finding alternative methods to use, what are those alternative methods? Because many would turn around and say, but Russell, I hear you, but power-saving lamps, etc., are more expensive, in my opinion, as opposed to just having a paraffin lamp, especially if we're going to go into the dark anytime soon.
Absolutely. Well, there's pros and cons to both. You can get safer gas heaters, which obviously extinguish should there be any issues. I have seen several initiatives actually where people use candles, and there are projects around it to make these devices safe. You can even use DIY methods if you are going to use a candle late at night. Okay. Merely filling, for example, a can with halfway with sand, placing the candle inside. And should the candle fall over, or the can fall over, the sand will be able to extinguish the candle. And this is obviously not going to cause a large fire. But as we said before, children are more susceptible to these burns. As an adult, we understand the circumstances and we have the know-how on how to operate any heating devices and things like that.
Electric blankets as well for children?
Exactly. Where kids don't really know what to do in emergencies, they don't know how to operate them properly. Electric blankets is a good one, leaving your electric blanket on for an extended period of time. If there's any shorts with it, can cause serious injuries.
Russell, it's warnings that can never stop happening, and I think that we literally need to be focusing on such warnings throughout the winter period because it becomes more and more dangerous. But we're going to leave our conversation there for this morning. Thanks a lot for joining us on MNT as well. Spokesperson Russell Mehring giving us matters that we really need to be aware of, and that is concerning some of those heating devices that we may use, especially around the winter period. But